You know what's powerful? The words we speak every single day. Words are like seeds. We plant them in our mind, in our spirit, and they grow into the life we live. If you want confidence, speak it. If you want clarity, declare it. If you want joy, repeat it until it becomes your rhythm. So when you practice these 100 daily words, don't just say them, feel them. Let your voice carry authority. Let your tongue shape possibility. Imagine every word polishing your communication, shaping your confidence, and unlocking doors you didn't even know existed. I remember the first time I decided to train my voice with intention. It wasn't about the accent, it was about the belief. I realized the way I speak to myself determines how the world listens to me. That was the game changer. So today, speak these words like you mean them. Not because they're just practice, but because every syllable is an investment in your future. Speak with conviction, speak with courage, and speak with love for yourself. Because your words don't just create sounds, they create worlds. When you open your mouth to speak, you are doing more than just releasing sound. You are revealing your inner world, your belief system, and your level of self-trust. Confidence is not something that shows up by accident. It is something that is created word by word, sentence by sentence, conversation by conversation. The way you use words has the power to either build you up or break you down. And the truth is, most people don't realize how much their everyday language shapes the way they see themselves. Think about this. If you start your day saying, "I can't, I'm not good enough, I'll never get it right," what do you think your mind begins to believe? Your brain doesn't know the difference between a joke, a throwaway comment, or a heartfelt declaration. It simply receives the words and turns them into beliefs. That's why speaking words of strength, possibility, and power is so essential. It's not just about the accent or how polished the words sound. It's about the energy and intention behind them. Confidence is built in layers, and each word you speak is a brick in that foundation. If your words are filled with doubt, your foundation cracks. If your words are filled with courage and conviction, your foundation strengthens. Every time you say a word with clarity and presence, you're not just practicing sounds, you are practicing belief. You're training your spirit to stand taller, your mind to think sharper, and your heart to feel braver. I remember a time when my own words betrayed me. I used to say things like, "I'm just not good at this," or "I'll never sound as smart as them." And guess what? Every time I repeated those phrases, I gave my doubt permission to grow. It wasn't until I shifted my language, until I started saying, "I am capable, I am learning, I am improving," that something changed inside me. My posture shifted. My voice grew stronger. My eyes started to hold more light. And little by little, my confidence became unshakable. That's the magic of words. They don't just describe who you are, they shape who you become. Speaking 100 daily words in a British accent isn't just about pronunciation. It's about practice, consistency, and ownership of your voice. As you speak each word, you're not only refining your accent, you're sending a message to yourself. I am worthy of being heard. That message, repeated daily, begins to silence the voice of fear and awaken the voice of courage. Confidence doesn't come from waiting for someone else to validate you. It comes from affirming yourself. It comes from speaking words that align with the future you are walking into. The more you practice with intention, the more your tongue learns to trust itself. And when your tongue trusts itself, your mind trusts itself. When your mind trusts itself, the world begins to trust you too. Imagine walking into a room and knowing that your words will not betray you. Imagine speaking with such certainty that people lean in, not just to hear the accent, but to feel the conviction behind it. That is what happens when you use words as tools for building confidence. Each daily practice is like a workout for your voice and for your spirit. You may stumble at first, but stumbling is part of strengthening. You may hesitate at first, but hesitation is part of growing. The key is to keep going, to keep speaking, to keep building your confidence word by word. So let your daily practice be more than just a drill. Let it be a declaration. Speak those words with power, with love, and with the deep knowing that you are shaping the person you are becoming. Because confidence is not found, it is spoken into existence. And it begins with the words you choose to say today. So many people hold themselves back from practicing a new skill because they're afraid of not getting it right the first time. They want perfection before they even begin. But here's the truth: perfection is an illusion, and progress is the real prize. When it comes to speaking in a British accent, or any accent, it's not about flawless delivery from day one. It's about showing up consistently, allowing yourself to stumble, and letting practice become your pathway to confidence. Think about a baby learning to walk. That child doesn't get up, fall, and say, "Well, I guess walking isn't for me." No, they try again and again, wobbling, bumping into things, falling on their bottom, and still they keep going. Why? Because they are wired to practice until walking becomes natural. The same principle applies to your voice, your tongue, your lips, your breath. These muscles need training. And just like any other muscle, they don't grow stronger with perfection. They grow stronger with practice. Many people quit because they judge themselves too early. They hear their voice, notice the mistakes, and decide they aren't good enough. But those little mistakes are not proof that you're failing. They're proof that you're learning. Every mispronounced syllable, every awkward rhythm, every slip of the tongue is part of the process. You cannot refine what you are too afraid to practice. When you practice daily words in a British accent, you are not just training your sound, you are training your discipline. You are proving to yourself that showing up matters more than being flawless. You're rewiring your brain to say, I am allowed to be in progress. I am allowed to be unfinished. I am allowed to grow. That mindset alone can free you from the trap of self-criticism. I remember the first time I tried to adjust my own speaking style. I wanted it to sound smooth, natural, professional, but it didn't. It sounded clumsy. I stumbled over words. I compared myself to others who made it seem effortless, and I almost gave up. But then I realized something: the people who spoke with such grace didn't start that way. They had rehearsed, they had practiced, they had trained their voices again and again until it felt like second nature. And that realization gave me permission to keep going imperfectly. Practice is a gift you give yourself. It allows you to see progress in real time. Today you may fumble through a list of words. Tomorrow, those same words will feel lighter, smoother, easier. Next week, you'll catch yourself speaking them with more rhythm. And months later, people will notice your growth, even if you can't always see it yourself. That's the reward of practice. It builds confidence quietly, behind the scenes, until one day it bursts out in the open. When you shift your focus from perfection to practice, the pressure lifts. You stop worrying about sounding exactly right, and instead you start enjoying the process of growth. That joy fuels consistency. And consistency, not perfection, is what transforms your voice. Remember, no one applauds the first draft of a masterpiece. They applaud the finished work. But without the courage to start imperfectly, there would be no finished masterpiece at all. So if you ever feel discouraged, remind yourself it's not about getting every word perfect. It's about building a relationship with your voice, one word at a time. It's about showing up daily, even if you stumble. It's about celebrating the small victories, the syllables that come out clearer, the phrases that flow smoother, the confidence that grows stronger. Your British accent practice is not just a language exercise, it's a life lesson. It teaches you patience, resilience, and persistence. It reminds you that mastery is never born from perfection. It is born from practice. And when you embrace that truth, you give yourself permission to keep going, to keep learning. and to keep speaking until your voice feels like home. There is something extraordinary about showing up every single day, even in small ways. Consistency is often underestimated because it doesn't feel dramatic. It doesn't look glamorous. It's not a big, flashy breakthrough. But consistency is the quiet force that transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. When it comes to practicing daily words in a British accent, or any habit you want to build, consistency is your greatest ally. Think about water dripping onto stone. One drop doesn't change much. 2 drops hardly make a difference. But over time, those drops carve pathways into solid rock. That's what happens when you show up daily. At first, the results feel invisible, but little by little, your consistency is reshaping you from the inside out. And one day, you look back and realize you've transformed completely, not because of one big leap, but because of hundreds of small, faithful steps. When you practice 100 words every day, you're not just training your voice, you're building a habit of discipline. You're telling your mind, I can trust myself to show up. And that trust becomes the foundation of confidence. Confidence is not built in a single moment of courage. It is built in the repetition of showing up, even when you don't feel like it. Many people start strong but give up too soon. They practice for a few days, maybe a week, and then they say, I don't see progress. Maybe this isn't for me. But the truth is, progress doesn't happen in the first mile. It happens in the marathon. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Without it, you stay stuck in the cycle of starting and stopping. With it, you move steadily forward, even if each step feels small. I remember when I set a goal for myself to speak with more clarity and presence. I told myself, every single day I will practice for 10 minutes. 10 minutes felt small, almost insignificant, but I made a promise to myself that I would not miss a day. Some mornings I woke up energized and excited. Other days I was tired, distracted, or tempted to skip. But I kept my promise, and after a few weeks, I noticed a shift. My voice sounded stronger, my words flowed easier, and the confidence I gained started spilling into other areas of my life. That didn't happen because I practiced for hours one day and skipped the rest. It happened because I practiced a little every single day. Consistency wins because it compounds. Just like money invested daily grows into wealth, effort invested daily grows into mastery. You don't need to overwhelm yourself with massive effort. You just need to be faithful with small effort, over and over again. That's how habits are built. That's how confidence becomes unshakable. There will be days when you don't feel motivated. That's normal. Motivation is like a spark. It burns bright but doesn't last forever. Consistency, however, is like a steady flame. It keeps burning even when the spark has faded. If you rely only on motivation, you'll quit when it disappears. But if you lean on consistency, you'll keep going because you've built the discipline to show up no matter what. So when you think about practicing these daily words, don't focus on perfection. Don't focus on quick results. Focus on consistency. Ask yourself, did I show up today? If the answer is yes, then you've already won. Because showing up today means you're one step closer to mastery than you were yesterday. And tomorrow, you'll be another step closer. The secret of transformation isn't in doing everything at once. It's in doing something every day. So let your practice be steady. Let it be simple. Let it be consistent. Because at the end of the journey, it won't be one moment of brilliance that defines your growth. It will be the daily rhythm of your faithfulness. And that's why daily consistency always wins. Your voice is one of the most powerful tools you carry with you. It's not just a sound, it's your presence, your identity, and your influence. The way you use your voice tells the world how much you believe in yourself. It tells people whether to lean in and listen or to turn away and dismiss. That's why practicing your voice, refining your words, And speaking with clarity is so much more than a technical exercise. It's about unlocking the presence you already carry inside you. Think for a moment about the people who inspire you most. Often, it's not just what they say that moves you, it's how they say it. Their tone carries conviction. Their rhythm commands attention. Their words flow with certainty. And you can feel their presence in the room before they even finish a sentence. That power isn't reserved for a chosen few. You have that same ability within you. You just have to train your voice to deliver the presence that matches your potential. Presence isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's not about shouting or forcing people to hear you. True presence is about alignment, your voice, your body, and your spirit all telling the same story. When your words are clear, when your accent is shaped with intention, when your tone carries steadiness, you step into a space with quiet authority. People feel it, they sense it, and they respond to it. I remember the first time I realized my voice could shift an atmosphere. I wasn't saying anything new or extraordinary, but I spoke with clarity. I slowed down enough to let my words land, and I believed in what I was saying. And in that moment, the room grew still. People leaned in, eyes locked on me. That's when I learned your voice is more than sound, it's energy, and energy creates presence. When you practice daily words in a British accent, you're not just working on pronunciation, you're practicing the art of presence. Each word becomes sharper, each phrase becomes clearer, and your confidence begins to fill the space around you. The more you practice, the more your voice learns to carry weight, not heavy with pressure, but solid with certainty. And that certainty is what draws people in. Many of us have been taught to shrink our voices. Maybe someone once told you to be quiet, to tone it down, to stop being so loud. And over time, you began to believe that your voice wasn't worthy of taking up space. But the truth is, your voice is meant to be heard. It's meant to fill rooms, inspire hearts, and open doors. Practicing with intention gives you permission to reclaim that power. Voice creates presence because it shapes how others perceive you, but more importantly, it shapes how you perceive yourself. When you hear yourself speaking with clarity and confidence, something shifts inside. You start believing in your own authority. You start trusting that your words matter. And when you trust your words, the world starts trusting them too. Presence is not about perfection. You don't need to sound flawless to command attention. You just need to be authentic, intentional, and clear. When your voice reflects the truth of who you are, people connect, not just with your words, but with your spirit. And that connection is what presence is all about. So as you practice these daily words, remember you are not just shaping an accent. You are shaping a presence. Every syllable you speak is training your voice to show up stronger, bolder, and more certain. And when you walk into a room with that kind of presence, you don't have to beg for attention. You earn it naturally. Your voice is your power. Your voice is your presence. And when you choose to honor it, refine it, and release it, the world cannot help but listen. Every word you speak carries energy. Every sentence you form holds the power to build or to break, to inspire or to discourage, to open doors or to close them. Words are not just sounds that fade into the air. They are building blocks that shape the world around you and the world within you. When you understand that, you begin to treat your words with more care, more respect, and more intention. Think about the moments in your life when someone spoke words that changed you. Maybe it was a teacher who said, "You're capable of so much more." Maybe it was a friend who told you, "I believe in you." Or maybe it was a stranger's kind word that lifted you in a difficult moment. Those words didn't just pass by. They landed. They planted seeds. And over time, those seeds grew into belief, into strength, into action. That's how words create worlds. But it works the other way too. Negative words spoken repeatedly can create a world of fear, doubt, and limitation. How many times have you caught yourself saying, "I can't," or I'm not enough, or I'll never get there. Those words may seem small, but they become walls that trap you in the same place. The good news is, just as negative words can build barriers, positive words can break them down and create bridges. You have the power to choose which kind of world your words are building. When you practice 100 daily words, you are doing more than training your accent. You are choosing the bricks that build your inner world. Each word you repeat with intention becomes part of your foundation. Clear, confident words create a world of clarity and confidence. Strong, purposeful words create a world of strength and purpose. And the more consistently you practice, the stronger that world becomes. I remember when I first started paying attention to the language I used every day. At first, I was shocked at how many of my own words were filled with doubt. I would say things like, I'll try, but I probably won't get it right, or this is too hard for me. And I wondered why I often felt stuck. Then I made a decision. I would start replacing those phrases with words of possibility. Instead of, I can't, I said, I'm learning. Instead of, this is too hard, I said, this is a challenge, and I'm growing through it. Slowly, the world around me began to change, not because the circumstances shifted immediately, but because the way I spoke to myself shifted first. That is the secret most people overlook. Your words set the tone for your reality. If you speak life, you begin to live life. If you speak possibility, you begin to see possibility. If you speak strength, you begin to feel strength. Words don't just describe your world, they design it. Practicing these words in a British accent may seem like a language exercise, but it's also a mindset exercise. It's teaching you to slow down, to be intentional, and to claim your voice with clarity. And when you claim your voice, you also claim your space in the world. Each word becomes a declaration of who you are becoming and the life you are creating. So let your words be seeds of hope, of courage, of vision. Don't waste them on self, doubt, or fear. Use them to build the world you want to live in. Speak with the awareness that every word carries weight and every phrase shapes possibility. Because at the end of the day, your voice is not just telling a story. It is creating the world that story lives in. Your words create worlds. Speak wisely, speak boldly, speak with love, and watch the world you desire begin to rise around you. Do you want me to add a new key point? No. 6 are like an extension of the series and then expand it into 600 words. If yes, I can suggest a natural continuation. For example, key point no. 60. Practice shapes identity. What you practice daily becomes part of who you are. Here's a powerful, warm conclusion that ties together the entire speech series and leaves your audience uplifted. At the end of the day, these words are so much more than practice. They are a mirror of your belief, a daily reminder of your courage, and a declaration of the person you are becoming. Every time you speak them, you are not just shaping an accent. You are shaping confidence, presence, discipline, and possibility. You are proving to yourself that growth happens one word, one choice, one consistent step at a time. So speak boldly, speak with love, speak with power. And let your voice remind you every single day that you are capable of creating the world you dream of. I'm cheering for you. I'm proud of you. And I can't wait to see how your practice transforms not just your voice, but your life. Good luck on this journey. And thank you for giving yourself permission to grow, to rise, and to shine.